Hello everybody, Rebellion Ranch back with you. This is the maiden flight of our Phantom 4 drone. Today we're going to take a look at the area that the goats and sheep have been grazing for about 48 hours now. It's a little bit under 2 acres with about 300 head grazing, so it's a lot of pressure. As you can see, the guardian dogs, the Antillian Shepherds, are less than enthused. And this is my very first flight, so I apologize for the sloppiness. I hope to get a little better with the camera, but really cool to see this. You can see on the right of the screen, area obviously not grazed, and on the left is the area that is grazed. And the goats are right there on the pond dam, where there's also a really good illustration. All those trees that you're seeing, they have pruned most of those up to about 5 or 6 feet. And believe it or not, there's a fair amount of forage in there, but we're going to open up more area to them tomorrow and do what I like to call drifting. We'll leave this area available to them with the water in it, and they can bed down in it because they're familiar for another 2 days, and then we will open up the other area and then close that off and then drift to the next area. So as you can see a few of the goats right there, and that was all thick impenetrable brush right in the center of the screen where those goats are eating. And what we did is basically mowed a perimeter around this, and where you see that tree line in the, well, I just panned away from it, but we wrapped around. There's some area that we will graze in the future. That's probably about 2 paddocks away from what we're going to do, because I'm going to do the back side of the pond, I think, next. And I'm really impressed with this drone. There's a number of reasons we got it. Scouting out areas for where we're going to put fence and where it makes sense is a lot easier looking at this, I can tell already. So here you can see most of the herd. The area back behind that livestock trailer is the area that they have already grazed down, and they had a considerable amount of time in there. That's actually not dirt. It's all the brown undergrowth that was in there, but they ate it all down. That was all locust trees and thorns and briars. It was pretty nasty stuff. And I think I slapped the drone around a little bit there with my sloppy flying. You can see the truck up there with the water tote on it, all their water tubs. We just stocked them up with water today. So this is a smaller area. We get the best use out of our fence if we make a square, and just the number of feet of fence that we use to the area that gets provided is just much better with a square than any other shape. So we're going to have to start expanding that, but when you work in the confined areas, sometimes you don't have that luxury. And you kind of have to take the path of least resistance, unless you want to spend all day cutting a path. So that field right there is where the goats had been escaping for a long time. And we'll come back here. Really a useful tool on a wide open range if we saw any animals down. You could really observe behavior. I have a lot of machine learning interests that I would like to apply to the drones. A lot of topography mapping that I'd like to do, but it's going to be a very useful tool. All right, if you see back behind the pond there, I think that's probably going to be, I just panned it out. There we go. That's probably going to be the next area that we graze. This triangle to the left and then the triangle to the right behind the pond. We're not going to try and get in those trees. That's a neighboring property over there, and I know that pond overdrains. I saw it in the winter, so it'd be hard to get fence in there anyway. We will probably walk it right up to the edge of the pond. The Anatolian Shepherds can get out, but they won't want to leave their stock very far. The goats and the sheep will not get in the water. So that will actually save me a lot of fence. If you look at the bottom, we'll probably move the fence up against that, and then we'll just do this tree line to your, on the left side here and the back side, and wrap it all the way up to the pond and let them eat all that down, which is going to save the landowner a lot of effort and expense trying to keep that maintained. Both these landowners are really great people that have allowed us to graze here, so I hope to leave their land in better condition than they had hoped for. As you couldn't even walk back through this tree line that you're seeing. There was no way. There's a barbed wire fence in there. It's a very strong fence, but you couldn't see it. I mean, it was just so overgrown, you know. Nature does not take long to make things disappear. Hopefully we'll see a little more of the livestock here. Not gonna lie, I was a little nervous first time flying. As you can see, most of the goats right now kind of went over to where the water is, but there's actually a fair number of them that are hiding in that deep brush and eating in there and getting out of the sun. It was well over 90 degrees and just soupy, nasty weather again today, so. And again, that gives a good shot of where we'll probably head. We may actually encircle that whole pond with fence next on the south side and the north side and wrap around it and just let them have all that with minimal effort of fencing, actually. A call it would have been really difficult to make without this drone, so I'm very thankful for this tool. And this is auto landing itself right now, which is awesome for a nervous first time pilot. God bless you all. Thanks for watching the video. RebellionRanch.com.